Hey, and welcome to this explainer. Today, we're going to dig into something really interesting, the hidden ingredient behind work that's not just good, but truly great. And here's a spoiler. It's not about having the smartest idea or the perfect plan. It's about the quality of the human connections that bring a project to life. So let's just start with a big question for you. Think back to the best project you've ever been a part of. Could be at work, maybe in school, or even just a personal passion project. What was it? What was that special sauce that made it all click? Now, your first thought might be, oh, it was a brilliant idea, or we had a super tight methodology, or maybe the data was just perfect. And look, all of those things are obviously important. But the paper we're diving into today suggests we're often overlooking the most critical piece of the puzzle, the people. And that brings us right to the core concept we're going to unpack. It's called the relational foundation. So what is it exactly? Well, the relational foundation is basically everyone you interact with on a project. We're talking teammates, sure, but also the people you're studying, the stakeholders, even the folks who give you feedback along the way. But here's the key. It's not just who they are, it's the quality of those connections that can literally make or break the entire thing. To really get our heads around this, we're going to walk through three powerful stories from the researchers' own experiences. Each one shines a light on a different challenge where the human element was, well, everything. All right, story number one. This is about one of the first and biggest hurdles in any project, just getting your foot in the door. So one of the researchers, Jane, wanted to study a pretty sensitive topic at the Port Authority of New York and New Jersey. And her way in, it was an official channel, it was a friend. This quote really says it all, doesn't it? This wasn't just a simple professional ask. It was personal. It was a risk. Jane was leading on a real friendship, and she knew that could put a strain on it. But she also knew that this trusted connection was the only way she was going to get the deep, honest access she needed. And her situation just highlights these universal challenges we all face, right? I mean, how do you build trust and fast? What do you do when your key contact leaves or plans completely change? Who really owns the information you get? A strong relational foundation is the thing that helps you navigate all of this messiness. Okay, now this idea gets even deeper in our second story. This one is all about the connection with the people you're actually there to learn from. So the researchers are in a room interviewing an engineer from the Port Authority. Wow, this moment is just so incredibly powerful. The engineer starts telling them a story about a homeless mother with AIDS who asked him to hold her baby, who also had AIDS. And the raw emotion in that room, his anguish, his total feeling of helplessness, that wasn't just data. That was a profound human insight that you could never get from a survey, and it became totally central to their understanding of the problem. And this is a perfect example of the challenges you face when you're trying to learn from people. You have to get past that initial distrust, you have to be able to read what's not being said, and you have to earn the right to their time. Real, deep learning only happens when a real connection is there. So for our final story, we're going to turn the lens inward and focus on the relationship between the two researchers themselves, Jane and Janet. I just love this image. You can just picture it, right? Two collaborators rushing home after a long day, juggling kids, juggling the stress of being junior faculty, and boom, a massive breakthrough happens right there on the sidewalk. It's because their personal and professional lives were so intertwined that it created the space for that kind of spontaneous magic to happen. And let's be real, collaboration is hard. You're constantly dealing with different backgrounds, logistical nightmares, changing life situations, and yeah, even ego. But a strong bond, that real relational foundation like Jane and Janet had, gives you the trust and the flexibility to get through all that stuff and create something truly incredible together. Okay, so we've seen the challenges, we've seen why this matters. But the big question is, how do we actually build this strong relational foundation? Well, the paper gives us a fantastic, really practical toolkit with 4 key practices. Here they are. Number 1, being vulnerable. 2, being genuinely interested. 3, seeking feedback. And 4, being trustworthy. Now, they might sound kind of simple, but these are incredibly powerful tools. Let's break each one down. First up, vulnerability. This is a big one. The researchers weren't experts on the topic they were studying. And by admitting that, by saying, we don't know, they opened the door for others to teach them. See, this wasn't a weakness. It was an invitation. It built trust, and it made it safe for other people to be open in return. Second, being genuinely interested. The researchers were truly fascinated by the whole situation. And this wasn't some act they were putting on. People can feel it when your curiosity is authentic. When you listen deeply and you are fully present, it just naturally encourages a real give and take of ideas. Third is actively seeking feedback. So they didn't just parachute in, collect a bunch of data, and then disappear. No, they went back and shared their early findings with the organization. This created this awesome loop of mutual learning that didn't just make the research better, it energized everybody and made them feel like real partners in the work.
And finally, being trustworthy. This is the absolute bedrock of the whole thing. The researchers were dealing with a really painful, controversial topic. By being super clear about their intentions and by fiercely protecting their sources, they built the trust that was necessary for people to share their honest, raw experiences. It is the critical currency of any meaningful relationship.
So, okay, we've got the what and we've got the how. But why do these 4 practices work so well? Let's take a quick peek at the science behind it all. The whole goal of using these 4 practices is to build what are called high-quality connections. You can just think of these as relationships that are defined by a sense of mutual respect, genuine positive feelings, and a feeling of energy or vitality when you interact. They're basically the healthiest, most productive kinds of human connections you can have. And what's cool is these connections have 3 incredible features. First, they have a high emotional carrying capacity, which just means the relationship can handle the tough stuff, the frustrations and disagreements without falling apart. Second is tensility. Think of it like a strong rubber band. The bond can stretch and bend under pressure without snapping. And third is connectivity, which means people are just way more open to each other's ideas. You put those 3 things together and you get a project that's more resilient, more adaptable, and way more innovative. So we'll end where we started, but with a whole new way of looking at it. Instead of just asking what makes work great, let's ask ourselves this. Is the strength of your relationships with your team, your clients, your community, the true hidden foundation of everything you do? It's a pretty powerful thought to sit with. Thanks for joining me.